I think we're on and popping. I think we're live. Hey, everybody. Oh, Ayo had to come and go. Hi, everybody. Hi, Enlightened, Virginia, Misi, Tanya, Tamika, Jackson. That is a mouthful. And Virginia. Hey, everybody. Hey, Day. Cyrita. Thank you. Yeah, it's finally starting to feel like I can nod my head again because girl, these braids were tight, especially in the nape. Oh my Lord. The front was fine because I was actually really paranoid about my no edges, but the nape has been what was like the most tight for me. Hey Maria, hey Rashandra, thank you, thank you. How's everybody doing? I'm doing well for the most part, but obviously, hey Kianse, we got some things to talk about. Hey Toya, hey Destiny. Yeah, let's get started. Hey Ruby, Paulette, what's up? Oh my goodness, everyone's flowing in. Hey everybody. So I think for the most part, you guys know what this live is going to be about because as usual, I gave you a little homework in the description box before I was able to get on. Just a heads up, I am going to be referring to the current president of the United States by his family's real name, which is Drumpf. I'm doing this not only because that is that man's name, but I'm also doing it in the interest of doing my best to avoid getting dinged by the bots and getting demonetized, since I'm pretty sure I'm already on the verge of being declared an enemy of the state by YouTube based on how things are looking in my back end, if I haven't already been declared an enemy of the state by YouTube. But yeah, so Drumpf had a rally last night in North Carolina, I believe it was. And the clips that I saw were truly sickening, but to be perfectly candid, I feel ill every time I have to lay eyes upon that man or even just hear his voice. Like if I'm in another room and a clip of him comes on the news and I hear his voice, I'm immediately ready to vomit. Anyway, yeah, so he was at this rally. I linked today's Philip DeFranco show in the description box because his reporting on everything that has transpired over the last several days and the claims that Drumpf was making at the rally, Philip's reporting was truly excellent. On the PDS, he went on to point out, basically point by point, he ran through how Drumpf is manipulating statements that Ilhan Omar has made about a radical organization that I will not name because of the bots as well. See, like I have to completely just be on high alert because YouTube is tripping. But you know what radical organization I'm talking about, what major event in American history in 2001 that occurred. Anyway, Drumpf has repeatedly failed to contextualize Omar's remarks properly. Like everything she has said that was even remotely possible to take out of context, he has done. And more disturbingly, he continues to tell blatant and easily disproven lies that go unchecked by his base, but also by the Lindsey Grahams of the world. Like, there is a bit of silver lining that there are people in the Republican Party who are like, this is disgraceful, but that does not give me much hope because if anything, we had this happening 4 years ago. We had this happening the first time around and here we still are, So if anything, I think things are going to escalate in terms of the blatant racism and inflammatory remarks and behavior that we are going to see. So it is an absolute disgrace, but it's also nothing new. I mean, we've already had, we have had 4 years of this if you count the campaign, which is still like a very surreal time. And it has continued to be surreal that this is real life. I feel like Mike Judge's movie Idiocracy has come to life. And I think a lot of other people have made that same observation in the past 4 years. Because for one thing, like what other elected president has continued to hold Klan rallies after being elected? Like he has had all these pep rallies. I mean, there's obviously been a slowdown throughout his time of actually being in office over the past 3 years. But bizarrely, he has more or less continued campaigning this entire time he's been in office. And of course, now we have the ramp up now for the next election in 2020. So I don't know, I just have this overwhelming sense of dread because we have seen this before, you know? So it's really easy for the Democrats to like throw up their arms like, oh my God, this is so crazy. But that does not mean that we can rest on our laurels, because this is by design. We saw it in 2015, and it's why we are where we are right now. I don't think it escaped anyone's notice that there's a stark parallel between send her back and lock her up. It is the same thing. I saw that Adrian Expression did a video on this earlier today, which I deliberately have not watched yet because I tend to agree with him on a lot of things, and I didn't want to be influenced by his thoughts to the point where I'm repeating his points verbatim. Yeah, exactly, Paulette. Go back and fix your country. That's what she's trying to do. She is trying to fix her country. Now, so since Trump can't focus his and his base's vitriol on a specific Democratic Party nominee yet, in the meantime, he's evidently deciding to focus it on Omar. And as usual, he's using blatant xenophobia, Islamophobia, misogyny, and just some good old boy racism. Just old-fashioned racism to get his people fired up, and basically painting anyone, most explicitly Omar, who dissents from his policies and opinions as anti-American. Okay, A of all, there is no United States of America without dissent. Okay, this country was founded by dissenters, by y'all's forefathers. Not my forefathers, obviously, but I'm here, and this is my country, and rising up against unjust rule and fascism is the most patriotic thing an American can do. Like, that is what this country is founded upon. One of the biggest lies Trump likes to tell is that he isn't a racist. And I think he tweeted something to the effect of, I don't have a racist bone in my body. He said, I don't follow Trump on Twitter because A, I never would anyway. And B, I don't have a Twitter account. And C, you always hear about it anyway. Like, you don't have to follow Trump on Twitter to follow Trump on Twitter, unfortunately. So as far as him not having a racist bone in his body, well, his statements and his behaviors and his policies certainly say otherwise. Every time Trump or someone like him claims not to be a racist, it's an insult to the intelligence of anyone with eyes, ears, or even not even half a brain, like a quarter of a brain I would take. And even then you should be able to see it's pretty obvious this guy is a pretty bigoted. But that practice of being racist and then decrying being a racist is pretty common, and it's a huge part of his strategy. I was on Instagram the other day, and Monroe Bergdorf, she spoke about this before his rally last night. This was maybe 2-3 days ago in an Instagram post. And I just want to read some highlights from what she said because she was so spot on. She said, in the lead up to the 2020 election, Trump will be doubling down, and she obviously wrote his current name. I'm replacing his name with Trump because that is his name. Trump will be doubling down on his racist and bigoted remarks because it is how he mobilizes his followers. It's how he won the 2016s, and if we're not careful and honest with recognizing his strategies for what they are, it's how he will win again. Trump is a racist, without a doubt, but so are his followers. They are either racist in action or inaction. They have been emboldened by a white supremacist cult leader, encouraged to see their own racism as not racist, but also defend Trump's ongoing racism as not racist. Trump is continuously using racism as a strategy to win, and it's working because we as a society can't confront our own issues with racism in a real way. The fact that racism is a system that all white people benefit from, which is in turn allowing the far right to thrive. Do not use this time to center on your own experiences or feelings, because racism is a system that ultimately you benefit from. Failure to recognize that this is the case allows the white supremacist movement to continue building this framework with marginalized bodies as the fuel. Racism is a system of power, and Trump is the beneficiary. I mean, you want to say speaking truth to power there. I just had to share some of what she wrote. There were actually more tweets that I didn't include because it was quite long, but I mean, that right there, that is it in a nutshell. And the fact that racists like Trump feel like they can say, I'm not racist, and have that somehow make it true is epidemic. I experience it myself in the comments under my videos more and more. And like, now that I'm digging into more, I guess, social issues, I mean, case in point, this live right now, I swear it's like some white people, and I say some, not all, some white people are triggered by being called white people, or they're triggered by people pointing out that white supremacy is a system that all white people benefit from. Like, this is not up for debate. In fact, you guys should have seen some of the pathetic nonsense that people were writing under my video about the Little Mermaid casting announcement. Like, why is it that privileged people seem to want to fight so hard to act oppressed? It's not great. Just in case y'all were wondering, oppression, not fun. In fact, under that video, the Little Mermaid one, and some of my other ones, like the ones I did about Tati and Jeffree Star and stuff, I often experience these racists calling me a racist for pointing out instances of white supremacy and racism, like whether they're institutionalized or individual instances of these issues. And it is essentially a racist person saying, I know you are, but what am I? You know what I'm saying? The answer is a racist. You're still the racist, and probably a men's rights activist. Oh, man. Yeah, because I've said before, and I'm sure I'll say many more times, and I'll borrow some more of Monroe's phrasing here because it was so great. If you are inactive in the face of active racism, thank you, Virginia, then you are racist. Silent allies are not allies at all. If you say nothing, if you do nothing, if you just look the other way, you are upholding systems of oppression and allowing them to continue. You're benefiting from the subjugation of other people, which makes you a participant in the perpetuation of racist systems. A player on the bench is still part of the team. Anyway, the point is, a racist's favorite thing to do is to deny being racist. Like in the story I linked in the description box about this landlord in Georgia. Of course, it's the South, but don't be fooled. Racism is everywhere. I'm not sure how many of you guys had a chance to even click on it and read through the article. I came across this story a few days ago, but the gist of it is a lady was renting an apartment from Alan and Patricia McCoy in Georgia with her family. She was renting this place, and evidently she had a play date for her daughters. I think her daughters are like 9 and 2 years old or so. And she had a play date with her Black coworker's 5-year-old. Well, after said play date, supposedly this landlord, the McCoy, the man, he started harassing her, calling her, and I don't want to get dinged, so I'm going to say, you know what word I'm talking about, and it starts with N, okay? He called her a N lover and threatened to call CPS. Thank you, Cyrita. And he threatened to call CPS for having an N on his property. The lawsuit also alleges that he told her she had 2 weeks to move out, adding that he previously evicted a woman who tried to let an African-American person move in with her. I don't personally use the term African-American I'm reading right now, unless I'm talking about a person who is African-American. But that's another conversation I want to have with you guys another day, because I just refer to myself as Black because I have not had my 23andMe done. Like, I'm a result of chattel slavery. So I don't know. I'm American. And I feel like the term African-American is just another way to other Black Americans who aren't necessarily still connected to wherever they might be from in Africa. That's another conversation for another day. Anyway, so the tenant who's filing this lawsuit, she called the landlords. She recorded the phone conversation she had with the woman, Patricia McCoy. And the woman told her, I don't put up with ends in my house and I don't want them on my property. She has this recorded. But here's the best part. Alan, the man, the racist man, he denies the allegations, says he isn't prejudiced. This is where it gets really rich. He says, some of the best friends I got is colored. Patricia, the wife, also denies that she's asked the woman to move out over the race of her guests. Rather, she cited damage to the bathrooms, walls, and doors in their rental property. However, the suit says that photographs of the property showed no such damage. And she added, some of my best friends are Black. So at least she, thank you, Maria. So she at least has updated her terminology. I feel like it's almost like a Lebowski moment, like Chinaman is not the preferred nomenclature, dude. Colored, not the preferred nomenclature, dude. Jesus. Anyway, so these two, the McCoys, they're a real pair. They literally use the some of my best friends are Black defense, or even better, the some of my best friends are colored. Like, that is rich. I'm pretty sure they're also huge fans of Kanye West too, just like Donald Trump. It takes me back to what to me at least was one of the most cringeworthy moments of his first campaign, when I can't remember who he was even referring to. It might have just been someone at one of his rallies where he was just like, look at my African American over here. Like, are you hearing yourself? Much like Jaclyn Hill telling obvious bald-faced lies to her followers, this whole send her back situation feels like a fever dream, except with much, 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 much higher stakes. These imbeciles don't even practice subtlety in their bigotry and then somehow think it's plausible to deny their bigotry. I feel like I have to laugh because if I don't, I will cry until I die. Yeah. That's right, enlightened Nubian. All colonizers have that Black friend. All you need is one, and somehow that makes you not racist. Me too, Isabel. I hope that tenant takes them to the cleaners, because this is apparently a pattern. They evicted someone else over racist stuff. Like, come on. Christina. Yeah, Dr. Cross, and she never issued a recall. She refunded everyone, which I like I said in my, I think it was a live on that, I will take that, but it's still not an admission of culpability. She's still on this, it's not my fault, blame the lab type of tease. Ridiculous. Lydia, my bed sheets are Black. My dog is Black, so I can't be racist. And that's actually a thing too. Apparently, Black dogs have a lower adoption percentage than non-Black dogs. If that doesn't show you how deep that problem is, that problem with racism, I don't know what does. Isn't that weird? Because I can almost understand it with cats because people are superstitious and there's the whole thing with like a Black cat crossing your path, yada, yada, yada. But there's no superstition with Black dogs. What's wrong with y'all? I love my Black dog. Misi, they didn't give the couple's age in their article, but it's an old ass man. I saw that there was a video above the article, which I did not watch, but I believe it's a still on his face. And I was just like, not to judge a book by its cover, but that looks like a racist old man. I mean, for real. Yeah, Virginia, isn't it crazy? I'm with you, enlightened. I love Black everything too. Keontae, I'm allergic to cats. I'm not a fan of cats, but yeah, my Aunt Weeze had a Black cat, Jezebel. That cat was mean as hell though. Oh Lord, probably Paulette. I must have missed that one. Arise Melanin, I don't know. I mean, I know Black Labradors are a fairly popular breed, but I'm talking about in general, like dogs that are being adopted, not bred and bought. And like, that's a breed of dog that people are probably buying. When it comes to like rescue dogs, Black dogs have a significantly lower adoption rate compared to other dogs. It's very peculiar. Maria, the cat thing is also racist. I don't know if the dog thing is truly right because it's just so strange. But like, I can't think of any other explanation because with cats, okay, fine, maybe you're superstitious. I don't know. Even that's a little shaky. But why would black dogs have a harder time getting adopted? Like, I can't think of any other explanation. It just seems like such a long walk. But racist people will carry their racism for very, very far distances. So, Gwen, I would love to have a chicken coop one day. Fresh eggs, and I would just like keep the chickens. I wouldn't slaughter them, even though I do eat meat. The chick that has the, oh, thank you, Amu. +1 to second worst date. Oh, second worst date. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. I never told that story, did I? Oh, Lord of mercy. Yeah, I agree with you, Keonce. It's a general association of black is bad, white is pure and safe. I think so. I think that's really what it comes down to. And it's just like, I can't believe people are that petty, even down to dogs. Thank you, Siggy. Oh, how interesting. Kind of like people, you know, the more melanin you have, the more built-in kind of protection you have to the sun, although black people still need to wear sunscreen, especially now since the planet is, you know, on its way out. Or maybe just humanity is. I feel like Earth is probably just hitting the reset button and getting rid of us, and then it'll flourish again in a few millennia. Thank you, Keonce. Oh, Gwen, you live in the Santa Monica Mountains? Yeah, I'm here in LA in the Basin. H. Nika Kabik. No, I don't think I heard about that one. Lord, Lord, Lord. That is interesting, Siggy. Wow. They got to start making sunscreen for pets, especially now that the apocalypse is nigh. Really, Gwen? How interesting. You know, I think I've actually seen black chicken like meat on Food Network or something at some point, but I guess it just didn't connect to me. Like, yeah, like some chickens are like, you know, like how there's like different types of vegetables, like the same vegetable, like different colors, like purple cauliflower or whatever. White horse disease. Paulette, I think it was probably, you know what? It probably wasn't Food Network now that I think of it. It was probably Top Chef because I used to watch that a lot. And I know that they would sometimes get like exotic ingredients on there. Thank you, Dr. Cross. Appreciate that. Yeah, Chastity. Didn't Bob Marley also get skin cancer on his toe? Isn't that what took him out? We are not immune. Really, Maria? I didn't hear about that. Ugh. Man, these supremacists have really just been emboldened in the past 4 years. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Yeah, same Lydia. I use vitamin A and retinoids too. So, and plus, I learned the hard way that the sun actually breaks me out. So, on the left side of my face, from driving and sitting in LA traffic, which is legendary traffic. I mean, our traffic is, no one does it better. I would always be broken out on the left side of my face. And I never knew why one side was worse until I put that together, until I realized it's the sun and I'm getting, it's not necessarily acne, it's like a rash, but it's like bumps. And I can keep it under control a lot better now because I'm really, really, really rigid with wearing my sunscreen. Yeah, frozen avocados, it sucks because I feel like the sun makes me strong. Like honestly, I'm West Indian on my dad's side, so I would be completely happy to just lie out and bake, which I have seen my dad do myriad times in my life in the summertime. You know, when we were on family vacations and stuff, he would just cook. And I would do the same, but I guess as an adult, my skin changed, and I noticed that once I got my car and I was commuting out here in LA, it would just fry this side of my face, and to a lesser extent, my right side too. And like, I can't do it. I got to be careful with the sun, and especially now being in my 30s, I have to definitely cool it on the photo aging. That's right, Paulette. Oh wow, hoodie in the car, gangster. Oh Lord. Toy. That's a shame. Yeah, I guess that happens to me too though in the news section because I do, try to keep up with my news, and who else is constantly in the news for doing something else insane? Well, H. Nikakavik, I think people are triggered by white privilege because they don't want to confront that they are indeed benefiting from it, because then they have to realize that they have to take responsibility for that. By benefiting from it and not railing against it and trying to pursue equality, then you are complicit. And therefore, as I said, you are also a racist. And I think when you are in a system of benefits and privilege, why would you want to give that up? That's the cardinal truth. I don't really know that there's an end to this. I don't realistically think there is, because why would anyone with privileges and benefits want to give those up? Not that many people are honorable and noble. You know what I'm saying? So even if you aren't burning crosses on Black families' lawns, it's easier to be like, well, I don't support that, and then to do nothing beyond saying, I don't support that. Exactly, H. Nika Kabik. I hope I'm saying your name, by the way. Um, Being complicit is almost as bad as being the one lighting that cross. And obviously, that's just a metaphor for systematic oppression. Isabel, Japan does have amazing sunscreens, and I'm actually wearing one right now. I picked it up when I was there last year. It's the Biore one, the SPF 50. I think it's called like watery essence or something. It's great. I love it. It's almost 7 where I am, so I've already kept you guys for half an hour. You guys know I don't like to keep these things too long because I just feel like I'm being a pest. Okay, so HBICAKAHNIC. Okay, I would have never gotten that. I would have never figured that out. All right, I'll call you HBIC then. Yes, I read it. It's a good one, isn't it? It's so good, especially when I'm coming home from the gym because I've been schwitzing there, and I want to top up because, I usually walk to and fro going to the gym. And yeah, it's just really nice to kind of top up. I just rinse my face off in the ladies' room, and it goes on so lightweight, so spreads so easily. I love it. I'll try to remember to link it under this video because I don't know if I named it exactly right. So if you guys want to check it out, I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon because as soon as I tried, I was like, I'm going to need to be able to repurchase this without going back to Japan. So I did look it up. Oh, Paulette wants a new fitness challenge. You know what? I haven't done one in a long time because everyone just drops out, honestly. And I also found that it was promoting too much of a extreme pendulum swing in my own behavior, where I'd be like going all in the gym and eating perfectly, and then I would go right back to like overcompensating for that restriction afterward. And then I would just, I would keep going back and forth. And I found that avoiding doing challenges and just trying to implement incremental changes has been good for me. However, I did come up with a catchy name because I want to start getting more walking in. Probably after the weather breaks and it's not sweltering hot here in LA. You know what I'm talking about, Paulette, since you're the one asking. But once it's not oppressively hot in Cali, I'm thinking maybe September, I want to do a Steptember challenge where we try to meet a certain number of steps per day each week, increasing to 10,000 for the last week, because that I think would be a sustainable-ish type of lifestyle change to get more walking in day to day. I mean, I get a fair amount because I have a DOG and she has to go out, thrice a day or so. But yeah, I feel like I could get in more, and I like the idea of walking because it won't interfere with my energy levels for my time in the gym. So I don't know, Steptember is on my mind. You guys know I love a corny ass hashtag with all of my challenges. But anyway, I am going to get out of here. Thank you guys for listening to me rant. At this point, I feel like now I can actually watch Adrian's video to hear his thoughts as well without being influenced. And yes, you guys are still talking about sunscreen. I'm going to make sure that I put that one that I'm wearing in the description box because I love it. It's great under makeup. It's great after the gym. Really good. And it's an SPF of 50, which again, we are like this close away from a Mad Max type of apocalypse. So it's always good to have a nice high SPF on whatever sunscreen you go with. But thank you guys for listening to me. I'll talk to you again soon. You guys know I love my lives with y'all because I feel like we can really connect. And enjoy the rest of your week, unless I come back on here unannounced for some reason. Bye.